What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Dose Media Network YouTube channel. In today's video, I will be going over a first look at the Week 15 main slate on Draftkings, the Sunday slate. So without further ado, let's talk about the quarterback position. Taking a look at some of the quarterbacks that I think are in play for Week 15, Jalen Hurts is definitely interesting at 8,200. I mean, just one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the NFL this year. He only has 2 games where he's finished outside of a QB1 performance. He has multiple top 3 finishes. He has overall QB1 finishes, 30 plus DraftKings points in 3 straight games. And at 8,200, Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback play on the board. Just elite rushing upside, elite passing upside with the weapons there. Dallas Goedert should be back. So Jalen Hurts is my favorite play at the quarterback position. I think Patrick Mahomes is interesting. I think Justin Herbert against this Titans pass funnel is definitely interesting as well. And I'm interested to see how the lineup shakes out for cash games specifically on DraftKings this week. There's not a ton of games as we have a 3-game slate on Saturday. We have a Thursday night game, a Monday night game, so that kind of limits the amount of games on Sunday for the main slate. Taking a look at some other quarterbacks, I think Dak Prescott at 6,200 is definitely interesting, and he may be the paydown option, but I think the quarterback that a lot of people might gravitate toward is Mike White at 5,400. With Mike White under center, the Jets have just gone to a pass first offense, and we've seen the skill position players benefit immensely. We've seen multiple Garrett Wilson spike weeks. We've seen Elijah Moore have a larger role over the last few weeks. Tyler Conklin has been fantasy viable, and Mike White at home against a porous Detroit Lions pass defense, a defense that has been good against the run, but they are still getting obliterated against opposing quarterbacks and wide receivers. Mike White at 5,400 I think stands out as the paydown option at quarterback. So I think in cash games, you're either paying up to Jalen Hurts or you're paying down to one of Dak Prescott / Mike White. If you enjoy this DFS content, I mean, even if you're still even playing DraftKings at this point in the season, shout out to you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to reach 700 subscribers. We're 40 subscribers away at this point. So make sure you subscribe. We'll provide DraftKings content throughout the NFL playoff, and we stream every single Saturday. We'll have content around the Saturday main slate, so make sure you tune in for that. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. All right, looking at the running back position for Week 15, Derrick Henry, in my opinion, is the standout play at 8K. He was 7,900 last week against Jacksonville at home in a smash spot. Ends up scoring 25.5 fantasy points. Day could have been much bigger. I don't know what happened to the Titans last week. Derrick Henry had 96 rushing yards and a touchdown after the first quarter. Only, 25 more rushing yards after the first quarter. Just absolutely abysmal, but nonetheless, Derrick Henry as really the only option in the Titans offense going on the road in a good game environment against one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. I think he's going to project the best out of these top tier running backs at 8K, and I think he is the overall best play at the running back position this week. We're going to have to wait on injury news. We're going to have to see if Ramondre Stevenson / Damian Harris are ready to go for this game. Ramondre is 7K, Damian Harris is 5,800, and if both of those players were to miss, I think we would be able to get Pierre Strong at 4K as a chalk running back. Pierre Strong looked very explosive in the limited amount of touches that he got in that game against Arizona, and I think he would be the Patriots RB1 with Kevin Harris being the Patriots RB2. So this is just a situation to monitor, but if Ramondre and Damian Harris both end up being ruled out, Pierre Strong at 4K is definitely going to be one of the best running back plays on the entire slate. If Ramondre were to go, Ramondre at 7K against this Raiders team, I mean, I think that's a total smash. Personally, injury news to keep in the back of your mind as the week moves along. Just some other running backs that I find interesting. I think Isaiah Pacheco at 5,900 is okay. We all know that Houston is the largest run funnel in the NFL, and Isaiah Pacheco has been splitting work with Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon has been a factor in this Chiefs backfield, but Pacheco is getting 15 to 20 touches a week. The spot is as good as any that he will see the entire season. He does have some reception upside, as you can see on the screen. 6 catches over his last 3 games, averaging 2 catches per game. So a little bit of reception upside there. So Pacheco at 5,900, I definitely think will be popular for sure. Tony Pollard, 7,100. I mean, TP has just been an absolute demon in fantasy football this year. 4 out of his last 5 games, he's gone over 22 DraftKings points, splitting with Ezekiel Elliott, and this is the highest total game on the slate, and this could have some back and forth potential. So Tony Pollard at 7,100, I think, is one of the best running back plays on the slate. Taking a look at some of the wide receivers that I think look good for week 15, Jamar Chase at the top stands out to me. 8,300, potentially no T. Higgins, potentially no Tyler Boyd and Hayden Hurst. Jamar Chase at 8,300 would be a total smash if those players were to miss with injury. So that is definitely a situation to monitor, is the Bengals ancillary wide receiver injury situations. We're going to have to keep that in the back of our minds as well. If those guys are out, Jamar Chase at 8,300, stone lock. Amon-Ra St. Brown at 7,800 is a good play once again. I think his projection will get docked a little bit just with the emergence of some of the other Lions pass catchers in DJ Chark and Jameson Williams, and Josh Reynolds saw a decent amount of targets as well. And honestly, this is not the best spot for the Lions passing attack. You know, we have Jared Goff, a quarterback who's only thrown 2 touchdowns outside of Ford Field, going into New York, a cold weather game for small hand Jared Goff. ASB at 7,800, I think from a target standpoint, is obviously a great play. You know, he did not get a price increase from last week, and he was a smash last week. So I think he's going to be one of the more owned plays on the slate. But I think there is some fragility to Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. Taking a look at some of the mid-range wide receivers, Garrett Wilson is going to be absolute stone chalk once again in the same game as ASB. I mean, his price is just not high enough for a player of his talent and caliber, and now he gets the best matchup on the board going up against a Lions secondary that just got torched by Justin Jefferson for 200 plus receiving yards. If Mike White's in there, that, you know, bodes well for Garrett Wilson's upside. Garrett Wilson 6K, just honestly too cheap. I think Mike Williams at 6,300 is honestly too cheap as well. Didn't see the amount of targets that we would have hoped in his first game back from an ankle injury that sidelined him 3 weeks, as you could see. But 6 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown in his first game back. And Mike Will has been a boom or bust player this year. You know, he's either gotten under 10 DraftKings points or he's gone over like 25 DraftKings points. There's been no in between. But this is as prime of a spot as any for a wide receiver to hit their ceiling. So Mike Will at 6,300, I think, is one of the best wide receiver plays on the entire slate. If we're taking a look at some cheap wide receivers, I think Jacoby Myers at 4,700, if he plays, is a total smash. Just too cheap for Jacoby Myers. Zay Jones at 4,900 should get some steam as a cash game wide receiver. I mean, as you could see on the screen, 10, 14, 7, 12 targets in his last 4 games, and Trevor Lawrence is just playing at an extremely high level right now, and he's elevating the players around him, and Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram, etc. So Zay Jones at 4,900 definitely stands out as a cheap option on the slate. Other than that, I would not go below Zay Jones or Jacoby Myers in cash games. All right, taking a look at the tight end position, I mean, we have Travis Kelce at the top and then a bunch of scrubs behind him, but in cash, we're definitely paying down at tight end. You're probably playing one of these cheap guys. We'll have to wait and see about some of these injury situations with Hayden Hurst being questionable, Juwan Johnson being questionable. I think those guys would be in play if they were ready to go, but I think Greg Dulcich at 3,600 is the best play at tight end on this slate. I mean, back-to-back games with 8 targets. We get the best matchup going up against a Cardinals defense that has given up the most catches, yards, and touchdowns to opposing tight ends, and his role is just good. I mean, the offense is horrible, and they might be without Russell Wilson, which is obviously a concern. But at 3,600, I think you're probably playing Greg Dulcich in cash games. Hunter Henry is interesting. Tyler Conklin in that Jets-Lions game is definitely interesting as well. Chig Okonkwo at 3,100 definitely stands out. So we'll have to wait and see which tight end garners some steam, but I definitely think that Chig, Greg Dulcich, and Tyler Conklin are probably going to be the best tight end values in this cheap range for the Week 15 slate. So I would just consider one of those 3 guys for cash games. All right, that is the first look for Week 15 on DraftKings. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. You know, we're just trying to build a community, and we accept all feedback. And if you want to join our community, the Discord link is down below in the description. It's free to join. We talk about NFL DFS, best ball, prize picks, anything surrounding the NFL. Make sure you join the Discord, and I will see you guys next week.